Let's have a little bit of AEW chat because I still haven't covered Dynamite yet as we are currently recording this, and I'm sure AEW fans are going to be like, "You hate AEW? That's the only thing you didn't cover this week." I just haven't got around to watching it yet. There's a lot of wrestling. Cut me some slack. Jericho had plenty to say. Speaking on keeping it 100 with Conan, which, by the way, I highly recommend people check out because Conan he's just a certified gangster. Whether you like him or hate him, he certainly is. And by the way, it was lovely to see him pop out, make a little appearance on Dynamite a couple of weeks ago when the boys went to Las Vegas. That was good fun, actually. By the way, my favorite part of that was Jake Hager and Wardlow trading, beating up randoms in the bar, trying to impress each other through power. I just thought that was really funny. I like that. I like those two. I put them as a tag team. I'd like to see them win the tag titles. Give me that. Anyway, Jericho, keeping it on 100, praised his current run with AEW. Chris Jericho praised his current run with AEW because who would praise Chris Jericho more than Chris Jericho, but recognize the promotion is still experiencing minor growing pains. I thought this was interesting. You might want to hear this. Everything isn't always good, Jericho said. We have a lot of details slip through the cracks. Phrasing. We still have quite a few times when very similar angles happen right after one another. Example of that was a few weeks ago where the big question was, will MJF join the Inner Circle? We had this big, long thing about whether or not MJF was going to join. I think it was a town hall. That's where Bischoff was there asking questions. People might remember this Dynamite recently. Bischoff, by the way, is still really good money on TV. And as soon as we were done, we went to like a package where Taz was asking Will Hobbs if he's going to join Taz's team. Continuity. And I went to the production team and I was like, guys, how can that happen? How can that even be? Like, it's the exact same thing and nobody even noticed that. Maybe we should move that package somewhere else in the future. Let's not use the word join, I assume he means, for Will and Taz, a part of our team. What? This is horrible English. Oh, instead, are you going to come with us? Are you going to work with us? Are you going to be a part of our team? So basically, he was trying to remove the similar wording, I think, in the other segments. Will MJF join the Inner Circle was the tagline for our pay-per-view match. Therefore, any other joinings should be suspended for this duration, which gives you an idea of actually how smart Jericho is and how his brain is always thinking about the next thing. Me, personally, I probably wouldn't have noticed that, so credit to him. I'd like to see a little bit more attention to those kind of details, he said. Tony Khan and company have emphasized that AEW is very much unscripted, and they've held true to that promise. We don't have writers, and we're very proud of that, Jericho said. That shows. I think that we could use an organizer. I agree with that. And he suggested possibly, I think he made some obnoxious comment to Jim Cornette, saying that if Jim Cornette shut his mouth and stopped slagging him off, he could come on and work as an organizer. Plenty more to be said about that on a separate podcast. Speaking on how shows come together, Y2J says Tony has the bulk of the work. That shows too. But a certain AEW style is also integral to that process. QT Marshall takes all of the ideas for the week and he kind of formats them all, Jericho said. Tony will say it's always about the opening quarter, the crossover quarter, and the final quarter, which is very much a TV reference. So I think Tony decides where he wants that, and QT shakes up the rest. And then Tony says, oh, this is good, or we need a package here. So it's a weekly kind of collaborative process for sure. Jericho is currently deep into a layered storyline with MJF, as we know. What do you think about the revelations that QT Marshall actually has quite a heavy say on the production of this, and also the fact that there are no writers whatsoever? Do you think that that's benefited AEW Dynamite? Because obviously people's argument is no doubt going to be, well, look at the state of Raw and SmackDown. They've got way too many writers. And it's like, well, actually, I think that they're putting together much more continuously excellent shows. I think that the credibility of those shows has risen. So what do you reckon, mate? A lot of moving parts running around in AEW.
Yeah, I didn't even know who QT Marshall was until he showed up on Dynamite, and now he's got all this responsibility. Good on him. He's really close with Dustin Rhodes, I guess. I know they're the nightmare
Natural Nightmares.
Something. Yeah, that's it. Something like I couldn't fucking remember.
Yeah, I don't hate the product. I do watch it.
No. But that's cool. Good for him. He's real close with the Rhodes family in general. Fine. But not having any writers, I think, is an issue. Sure, sometimes WWE they have too many. There's too many cooks in the kitchen, but at the same time, you still need those people, I think, to help get the point across. You don't have to write them a full script. It doesn't got to be, like an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper this big, a fucking size 10 font, single space. But they at least need the bullet points. Like, you can't just have people go out there and improvise because some people are just going to be bad. You need to help them succeed. And even just having a few people sit down at a table and go, "Hey, we want you to make sure you say this, this, and this. What you say in between, just make it coherent, make it roll, make it make sense." But yeah, just sending people out there with nothing, it shows. Some people flounder extremely hard, and that's fault on both of them and production. They've got to work together to make everything work. Teamwork makes the dream work. So I think they at least need like something. Having nothing is, I would say, a detriment.
Yeah, I mean, for full disclosure, for anyone who probably doesn't know me that well personally, I'm actually a writer. I took a writing degree, and I know Steve will be watching this going, "It was a shit degree." It absolutely was, but our pride and our passion and our talent, so to speak, is in writing. Anyone who knows me knows I'm all about creativity, and I believe in the process of writing. I don't believe in stifling writing. I think WWE, absolutely, that is the correct argument to say that WWE has very much floundered in their process of writing, and that's because they keep chopping and changing creators. They've got like 55 script writers. It's unnecessary, and actually, if you look back at the Attitude Era, they had one writer for each show, and then they had a couple of people that would work around them to help bring the ideas together. Less cooks in the kitchen. It's simple as that. That's why that fucking idiom exists, for that exact reason. Ultimately, I like the process of writing a little bit. You don't have to have loads, but I'm sorry, it does kind of show, because I do like the uncertainty of Dynamite. And when Dynamite's good, a lot of the reasons why is because there is this kind of feeling of you don't know what's going to happen next. And that's cool. But that can't form the entire basis of a show. I still need structure. I still need continuation. I still need people to understand what they're saying. I'll give you a good example, right? For instance, I don't know. What's your favorite series, Carl Wilkinson? What do you enjoy?
Right now I'm watching the. Yeah, that's a really good one. But right now I'm watching The Mandalorian. I need to watch the new episode that dropped today. It's been fantastic.
That's a good example. It's really overrated.
It's really good. I'm really enjoying it. Don't you ruin this for me.
I need to finish the first series first before I have a proper formed critique on The Mandalorian, because I haven't watched all of it yet. So I owe it that much. What I've seen so far hasn't excited me that much, but I'm also very excited about the idea of Sasha Banks being in it. So, So take The Mandalorian, for instance. It's very popular, irregardless of my controversial opinions. Imagine if all the actors turned up and they didn't have a script, and you just said, "Right, I just want you to kind of go with what you feel. Hey, you're a bounty hunter, right? Yeah, I'm a bounty hunter. Okay, you do your thing. Here's a baby." It's like it would be shit, wouldn't it? It would be garbage. And what people forget is, yes, wrestling is not a TV show per se, but it is. It is still TV format. It's for the TV executives. It's for these big networks, whatever you want to call them. I'm sorry, you have to have some level of control. I'm an anti-authoritarian, as people know. I'm very anti-conformist as well. I don't believe in authority and conformity and things like that. That being said, some things work for a reason. And there's, swallow your pride a little bit is all I'm saying. Bring in a couple of writers, and actually you'll probably find that this is by far and away the most well-balanced wrestling product going, But right now, I don't believe that's the case. And I would not be surprised if this has had a very large helping hand in why, for me, Dynamite doesn't click all the time. Don't get me wrong. There's things I love. Obviously, I'm always going to watch a Pac match. He could wrestle a broom and I would have an erection, because he's that good. In my opinion, he's the best wrestler in the world. And I'm going to watch stuff like that. I like Butcher and the Blade. I think they're woefully underused. I really enjoy it when they're on the product. I love the Lucha Brothers. I love Proud and Powerful. There are great moving parts here. People who are, for my money, bona fide stars who either haven't broken out yet or have, and then they kind of draw them back a bit because they don't really know. Stop flooding your studios with shitloads of indie talent and focus on getting the right people over first, then slowly bring in more. NXT is a really good example of this. And I know Dynamite only really has the one show and then a small little dark show on YouTube. So it's not on WWE's level. And I'm not comparing it to WWE in that regard, because that's just unfair. WWE's had, what, a 60-year head start? But at the same time, I want to see a slower trickle of these sort of things. But as far as this story goes, I'm not going to rag on QT Marshall. I actually think he's very likable, and everybody I know in the business or people I've read sources from, and they all say he's a really awesome human being and good. And it kind of shows, to be honest. He comes across as a really likable, nice guy. Is he a big mainstream star on TV? Not for me. I don't think he should really be on TV that much. And if he is, he should definitely be, kind of in the background, and he is for the most part. So I'm not going to give him too much grief. He's no question he's a great wrestler, and he trains a lot of good wrestlers too, and that's good. But little, it's not an alarm bell, but there are, I don't know. It's like the Metal Gear Solid exclamation point. It just kind of pops up a little bit, and I think, yeah, no, fix that. That's kind of how I feel. And also, for me, Tony Khan doesn't know wrestling enough, and that shows in this product. Because if he did, he would be able to polish and tweak a lot of things. He's looking at it too much from a TV perspective. Do you know what he feels like? A very rich Dixie Carter. That's kind of what he feels like. And we all remember how that wound up. But as far as
we've made that connection before. I think I've said that, where like he just seems very Dixie Carter-esque, and just coming in using daddy's money to do some wrestling. And TNT has a great history of wrestling until about 1999, and we all know how that turned out, don't we?
Yeah.